A Court of Fairies and Fiction. ACOSF Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel and Liv. Episode 12. She's everything. He's just Cassian.
Hello again.
Hello. It's been a minute. Like it's been a crazy couple of weeks.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're gonna have to do this like around Christmas time too.
I think so too. I think we're probably gonna have to take like a December break and then just like come back with all new stuff, you know?
Yeah, and then we can discuss like some of our remaining stuff in January, and then Ho Fast comes out. It'll be like February sweeps, like how the soap operas do all like their important stuff in February.
I gotta tell you though, I'm like, or what we could do, which we probably should, is like in December we should catch up on Tog and like read some of Tog.
I know. Everyone's like, you have to read Tog. I'm like, fuck.
Listen, if it wasn't for Assassin's Blade, I can probably guarantee you I would have been through it like by now.
Yeah. Oh, I should tell everyone because I know I just told you, but I had glitter on me for Halloween and it gave me a rash all over my face. So I might be like itching myself during this video, just so you know.
You're still beautiful. And by the way, you guys, she was Jasminda for Halloween. And she was the perfect Jasminda. Like so beautiful. Like you nailed it.
I did host our family Halloween party, but I did get voted best costume this year. So
you did? Did they know what it was from?
No, I just told them I was a woodland nymph.
They're like, yeah.
It's like last year. I'm like, oh, I'm a modern day Valkyrie. Like, yeah, I'm Gwen.
I literally we had our kid's birthday party too, and I was like, I need to come up with a costume for their party. And I was like, I'm literally like, I'm gonna go as Nesta. I'm gonna go as, and then I thought about it, no one's gonna know who Nesta is. And then if they find out, they're gonna be, and they read her book, they'll be like, no, you need some Jesus in your life.
Calm down.
Yeah, you need to chill out.
That's why I'm like, oh, I'm a woodland nymph.
I know. I'm not Jasminda, the fairy that got slaughtered. By Lucien's brothers. So.
Who didn't get a chance to live.
I know. Jasminda. You were the perfect Jasminda though. Like I kind of want you to be in. Have you seen people like filming? Like I know Whimsy Gossip did this. They like
I know. I saw them. I'm like, we have no budget. We don't even live in the same state. We can't do anything exciting.
I love your comment. It's so like dismal. We have no budget.
Nothing. We barely have a budget to buy books.
You know what? One day we'll have a budget. Let's just like keep on keeping on.
Fine. It's okay.
I know that like you and I were talking that hope like we'll be inviting some more people on.
Yeah.
So that could be something that's going to be fun and exciting.
Honestly, I think it'll probably boost our plays too because they've been steadily going down.
What has?
Our plays on like Spotify. Like every episode has like lower and lower and lower. I think we're pissing people off too much. But we expected this. It's fine.
Think so?
I don't know. I don't really care. They can fuck off. If they don't want to be here for our chaos, they don't deserve the best of us.
Okay. No, that's right. They don't deserve it, first of all. And we're going to come back with like all new content. I think you and I, like, we were very upset for about a couple of things.
We're going to continue to get upset.
I know. We like kind of stalled on it for a couple of episodes. And I think that's maybe what people
I think also part of the reason is like, we space out how much we film, so we forget what we talked about.
Yeah. And then we like
repeat ourselves
back
constantly.
Yeah.
So
you know what? And like I honestly think like we're gonna take this break in December. We're gonna regroup and then we'll come back with some fresh content and like you and I will become more disciplined. Like we will. That's all there is to it. Like we'll remember what we talked about and We'll kind of revamp the ACOSF Girl podcast.
Like, see, I wish, like, I know a lot of this is like my work schedule, which apologies, but I have a rotating schedule, so I don't have the same days off every week, which sucks. And I only get a weekend off every 6 weeks. So we try our best and we film at night when our kids are asleep on my days off when we can.
Yeah.
So it's my fault.
It's both our faults because I have 2 kids too. So
but yeah,
it's not easy. Sorry. It's like you said, for the people who are listening that we haven't quite pissed off, that enjoy our different contents.
or like maybe 5 people that are left listening.
Did we lose that many?
No, well, I posted the new episode on Sunday. It's only Tuesday, and we've only had like 3 plays.
What do we normally have by this time? What did we used to have?
Like at least 10. So I'm like, but other people could be busy because it was Halloween week.
That is true. Like, it's Halloween, and you know, who knows? It's kind of like, yeah, it's like busy wedding season too, and like,
yeah. My aunt had to go to a last minute wedding the other day too, so.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's like, I think it's like all these events are like coming out.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like you and I, we can get more organized. We should be inviting guests. We need to come up with like,
we should be like, we also, like, I'm so bad at posting. Like, I don't know what to post on the Instagram aside from like, this episode is coming up this week. You should watch it. Like, I don't know what else to post.
No, you do such a good job,
we don't
honestly.
do like different fun stuff like the other people, so. And it's not like we can do reels together because we don't live in the same.
I know, that's what I mean.
So.
What other fun stuff could we do?
I don't know. If anyone has ideas, DM our Instagram and be like, here's some content ideas because we need some help.
Yeah. You know what, though? I will say, I feel like I need to get more involved on the Instagram page, and I haven't yet because for multiple reasons, you know, like I have to log on for the first time and I like haven't done that. And then I have to find time during the day when my kids are asleep to like make content, you know?
Exactly.
So I need to step that up, and that's hopefully my plan going forward.
Yeah. Anyways, you said you had a bone to pick with me.
So I have a bone to pick with you. I'm very upset. I was very upset about it.
Oh no. What did I do this time?
So
what now?
So, I know that Cassian is not your favorite, right? You and I sorry guys.
He's not my least favorite though.
True. Okay, true. So he's not highly like ranked on your list, which I am somewhat offended by because he's like my man. One of them at least. And so I remember when you were discussing Cassie and like what your problem was with him and everything, you had mentioned to me that he had made a joke about Nesta falling off of the cliff when they were going on a hike, right? So I was like, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, when did Cassian make a joke about Nesta falling off the side of the cliff?
Not really a joke. It was more like a little quip.
So where? I cannot find it. I went back. I read the scene.
It's during the hike.
I don't see it anywhere. I don't see, what did he say? Because I was like, I'm going to show it to her.
You know what? I just saw it the other day too, and I didn't screenshot it. And I should have, because I felt like I sent you like so much stuff anyway. And I was like, that's where it is. I don't think I even highlighted it either because I was going back and forth. Found it. All I had to search was fall off.
Did you really?
Yeah. Okay, so
read it to me.
Do you want me to read like the scene for context?
Read the scene for context because I'm on page 942 on my Apple Books app, and I don't see
the Kindle doesn't fucking give pages, unfortunately.
That's right. You're right. You're right.
Anyways, it was when they stopped their hike for lunch. He said, "You have 30 minutes," Cassian said from where he sat in the tall swaying grass sipping from his canteen. "Use it however you wish." She said nothing, even nodding felt like too much. He opened the pack and chucked a canteen to her. Fill this. If you faint, you might fall off the mountain and break every bone in your body. Nesta didn't look at him, didn't let him see the word in her eyes. Good. He went still, though. His next words were gentler, and she resented them too. Rest up.
Yeah, there is no quip there, ma'am. I just highlighted
That is a
myself.
quip.
That is not a
You're
quip.
gonna look at somebody who's malnourished and be like, you might fall off the cliff.
He did not say that. I'm going to read it back to you
You
because
might
he did
fall
not.
off the mountain.
He opened the pack and chucked a canteen to her. Fill this. If you faint, you might fall off the cliff and break every bone in your body.
So why is he having a malnourished person fill a canteen near the side of a cliff?
Okay, first of all, that was not a quip. He was not like being a jerk and being
Yes,
like, you're gonna fall off, blah, blah, blah. He was like, he literally was concerned. And he's like, go fill this canteen, get yourself water.
Make sure you don't fall.
No,
Yeah.
That's not how it was.
That
said.
was the context behind that. He did not have to say that. He could have been like, please just fill this.
No.
If you faint, you might fall off the mountain and break every bone in your body. Why are you going to say that to someone who's already not feeling good?
Because he's concerned. He cares about
tell them
Nesta.
that they're in danger when you're concerned.
Yes, you do. Because you have to tell them so they actually do it. Like, so that they understand the seriousness of, like, you have to fill the canteen or else you're going to fall off the side. Like, he's trying to be serious with her.
But she does fill the canteen, and literally, like, on the rest of the hike, he doesn't notice that she never drank anything, never ate anything, and then she does pass out, and he's like, oh, she passed out.
Ma'am, do not try to change the topic here. I want you to admit he did not make a quip.
That was a
you
quip.
know it. It was
That was
not
a contextual quip.
You cannot use that argument from here on out when you are trying to sway people against Cassian because he actually cared.
No.
You know it.
That's like looking at someone who's emaciated and being like, well, I know you think you're still fat.
What? Genuine. He was truly
you're not.
genuine.
Why
Oh my goodness.
Say that.
I would say that. I would say that to someone like, hey,
Make
go
sure you don't fall off the mountain.
Like, I would say that to my child.
More nervous, more in pain than she already is.
He's trying to, like, reiterate the seriousness of where they're standing. Hey, be very careful.
If it was so dangerous and so serious, why did he bring her on the hike?
Oh my gosh. First of all, he did it.
First of all, he says it was a punishment. Number one.
He did say that, but I'm not convinced that he truly felt it was her punishment. I think he just said it to appease Rhysand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to get him off their ass.
He wasn't talking to Rhys. He was talking to Feyre, who actually said, I don't blame Nesta for what she did. Please tell her I don't blame her. She was the only one who told me, no matter how she told me.
Yeah, but Feyre is a Daemati and mentally connected to Rhys, so of course he's going to hear it. And he knows that Rhys is still pissed. Well, Rhys was a douche in that. That's not Cassian. That doesn't splatter back on him.
Okay, then answer me this. How come Cassian didn't relay the message that Feyre asked him to relay to her that she wasn't mad at her?
Because I think he wanted Nesta to go through.
He wanted to punish her.
It wasn't punishment. He knew she was going to punish herself regardless because Nesta, that's what she does, is she punishes herself. No one else has to do it. So then
why did he have to? Why did he have to take her on the hike? She was already hating herself.
Well, I think part of it, maybe he did punish her, but part of it was like she shouldn't have said what she said. She kind of threw Cassian under the bus. So he kind of had every right to be angry about it too, because he trusted her with that information when nobody else did. Do you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't right. And he confided in her. It wasn't right with
any of them keeping it from Feyre to begin with.
Well, I completely agree with you.
So
but
I'm on Team Nesta here. Sorry.
No, Cassian was the only one who was like, I'm going to tell her. She's my mate. I'm going to tell her the truth when no one else would.
I don't think they knew that he told her until he said, like, I told Nesta.
I think
They were
everyone
mad
figured it
that he
out.
told her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone was pissed at him. And I think that's part of the reason why too, is it's like he was being like, hey dude, like I tell you stuff, like we are like we're not a couple yet, but like there's a certain like honesty between like intimate couples, right?
That's
And
why
like
I'm like, why wouldn't he make her feel a little better and say, okay, your sister isn't mad at you for telling her. Reese is, obviously. Because Fair's like, please tell her that I don't blame her. Like, that I'm not mad at her. And I'm actually grateful she told me. And he doesn't say shit to Nesta. He literally just grabs her and drags her to the mountain.
I mean, that is a valid point. I'm not quite sure why he wouldn't say that unless he felt like it wouldn't make a difference, right? Like he's like he knows Nesta's gonna punish herself anyways because like I do something similar. You could say a million things to me and it would kind of help, but I would still feel really guilty.
But still, like I feel like she still had a right to know. And then she could
I
do
agree
what
with
she
that.
wants with it.
I agree with that. Like she does. But like at the same time,
because that's the thing. It's like Reese was keeping this from Feyre, and now Cassian's keeping this from Nesta. And it's like, why the fuck are you keeping anything from any of them?
I will say though, I feel like Cassian is much more transparent and with Nesta than Reese was with Feyre, because like Cassian like told Nesta about the swords, told Nesta I guess they all told Nesta about the baby and Feyre, but like
did they tell her about the sword? Because isn't that why she screamed at Amryn, and which is why this came out? I don't think he did tell her about the sword.
No, I think that Cassian is the one. Here, let me look. Actually, let me pull it up.
I forget if he ended up telling her. I've like
Hold
read
on.
this 10 times, and I forget if he ended up telling her, and then that's why she went and screamed at Amryn.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Okay.
Hold on.
Because it was only Cassian and Azriel that voted to tell her. I know that.
Yeah, they were the only two, and they were both right. And I love that Azriel also voted.
I love Az. I'm sorry. Az is a better person than Cassian. I'm just saying. Like, Azriel is better to Nesta than Cassian is.
Well, I don't know. Like, I do feel like SJM kind of like assassinated Cassian a little bit in Silver Flames.
I loved Cassian in ACOWAR. I'll say it. I loved Cassian in ACOWAR. I was like, oh, Cassian's so funny and he's so sweet, and the whole like death thing, and now he's like, I'll see you in another life, and like it was cute. And then like ACOSF, he was just a total fucking douchebag.
He was definitely a little bit different in ACOSF. I was a little disappointed because him and Az were like very refined and on the same level in ACOWAR. You know what I mean? Like emotionally.
I'm like so nervous for Azriel's book because I feel like in SJM's mind, like, oh, well, if I'm going to make them a perfect mate, they have to be exactly like Reese. And I think that's what she did. Like, she made him a carbon copy of Reese.
Cassian. Yeah.
He was up his ass in ACOSF. Up his ass. Don't talk about Reese that way. Fuck off.
I was really surprised. I was a little surprised by
How
that,
about honestly. Don't talk to your mate like that?
Yeah.
You're going to pick your adopted brother over your fucking mate right now?
Yeah.
Reese would never choose Cassian over Feyre. And you know I hate Reese. But he would never choose Cassian over Feyre.
No.
He was willing to let Cassian and Azriel die in the war, basically. He didn't want them to, but he was willing to because that's their job. Even when Feyre's like, he can't go back out there, but she's just like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And Cassian never once in their book put Nesta before Reese, and I was so pissed.
I feel like what he was doing is he was like the mediator between the two, and he kept like trying to, in his defense, like shuffle, you know, like, hey, he's my brother, this is my mate, we all have to get along, like, you know, like,
yeah. But then the way that he was like, but then the way like even to Nesta, where he's like, he's your High Lord, and she's like, he's not my anything. I love that. I'm like, fuck off, Cassian. Fuck off. I did love that scene though when she's like, you're gonna go tattle to your precious High Lord.
Yeah.
Big tough warrior needs so powerful Rhysand to fight his battles. I was like,
girl. Hold on, I'm almost there.
Okay,
like,
and then the whole everyone fucking hates you. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That was pretty bad. Like I
even Azriel was like
yeah. as he was like, he's so
Let
great.
out a
He's like,
long breath.
I know. Like, I don't know. In a way, they love each other by also like bullying each other.
I
Like,
had no idea because he never said it.
Wait,
I
I'm
have
trying
no
to find a sword.
idea he loves Nesta because he never says he does.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And that I didn't like that, and I agree with that. It was like the end of it ended with like, and Cassian answered with like a kiss that
He
shook
literally
the mountains.
kissed her in answer. Like, no, give me a fucking answer. Like,
oh my gosh. That cracks me up. Dude, hold on. I'm at chapter 54.
and just the way where she's like, I need space, I need space, I need space. Don't fucking follow me. And he's literally running after her down the street. Like, dude,
You
take
wanna
a
know what,
fucking
though?
hint.
No, because sometimes some people need that. Like you know what I mean? Like, Nesta wanted that. That girl wanted him following her down the street. She just acts like she doesn't because she didn't feel worthy enough for him. She loved it. Don't kid yourself.
You knew that Pharaoh wanted Reese under the mountain, but he just sexually assaulted her because he assumed that she did, and she really did. No.
Wait. Okay, why can I not find this?
Find what?
I'm trying to find where Cassie and Nesta have the conversation about the sword. Now it's like whenever
fucking Amryn. The last time a High King ruled Prithian, it was with a magic sword in his hand. Look at that great sword before you, Rhysand, and tell me that is not a sign from the cauldron itself. Fuck you, Amryn.
Yeah, that was super sus. Like, it was really weird.
I do like how he said, I will not be High King. I will not consider it, not today and not in a century.
Yeah.
I will not entertain this ridiculous notion for one more moment.
Yeah. Rhys, to his credit, like, put her in her place. I was impressed by that.
I tell you every time that I love this, she says, just know that the cauldron's benevolence will be extended to you only for so long before it's offered to another. Lulu.
Was it before the hike? It had to have been. This is with Amryn, right?
Nesta could have sworn Cassian was subtly scratching himself whenever she turned away to admire the sheer beauty and peace of the Springcourt forest.
I could still see him doing that too. Like, every time she would turn, he'd be like...
Nesta feigned gazing toward a bramble of roses. A bramble is a synonym for briar. Just throwing that out there.
I love
that.
What
is wrong with you? I hate this place. Allergies. Scratching at his arms, too. So that's a pretty bad allergy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like how it says the spring court was made for Elaine, because why are they acting like the day court doesn't have huge gardens when it's literally the court of sunshine? Come on.
You want to know what? Like, I am getting a little worried that SJM is going to throw us for like a crazy curveball. She might put Elaine and Tamlin together. She might.
Do you think she would let Phazand allow that? I don't
know. She might.
I don't think she would ever do that, especially because she put Lucien back in spring and they're trying to patch their friendship. Can you imagine Tamlin taking his meat? No.
True. Tamlin is very admirable. He would never do it. Okay, wait. I found it. Here it is. Okay, wait a second.
Oh, Eris's angular features were handsome, but no light shone in his eyes, no joy. Baby.
Okay, here we go. It's page 900. Nesta's mouth, it's a long one, so I'm going to read it to you. So just tell me what you think of this. Mm-hmm. Nesta's mouth tugged upward at their teasing. Gwen looked to her, teal eyes bright. Which one is worse, Bow Slayer or Silver Majesty? Silver Majesty, Nesta said, and Emery crowd with triumph. Gwen waved a hand, booing. What would you call it? Cassian asked Nesta. Why do you want to know? Humor me. She lifted a brow, but then said with all sincerity, killer. His brow was flattened. Nesta shrugged. I don't know. Is it necessary to name a sword? Just tell me, if you had to name a sword, what would you call it? Are you getting her one as a winter solstice present? Emery asked. No. Nesta hid her smile. She loved this when the three of them ganged up on him like lionesses.
He needs to be
I
put
do-
in his fucking place.
I do love it. They just bad at him like all the time. I love it.
I love Gwen too. I love
I
her.
do too. A round, a very muscled, very attractive carcass. Then why keep asking? Gwen asked. Cassian scowled, curiosity, but his jaw tightened. It wasn't that. There was something else. Why
See,
would he
again,
want her
he's
to-
lying.
No, he's the only one that tells her. Why would he want her to name a sword? Back to work, he said, clapping his hands. For all that sass, you're doing double time on the Valkyrie lunge hold. Emery and Gwen groaned, but Nesta surveyed Cassian for another moment before following their lead. She was still mulling it over when they finished 2 hours later, drenched in sweat, legs wobbling. Emery and Gwen picked up their earlier combo and aimed for the wire station. Nesta watched the two of them go and then turned to Cassian. Why were you pestering me about naming a sword?
He has to pester him to tell the truth.
But he did tell it. I just wanted to know what you'd name one. That's not an answer. Why do you want to know? He crossed his arms, then uncrossed them. Do you remember when we went to the blacksmith? Yes. He's giving me a blade for winter solstice. He's giving you 3, the ones you touched. She arched an eyebrow. He tapped his foot on the ground. When you hammered those, see, he's being honest right here, right now. She didn't ask
After
him.
being pestered a million times.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, she did. When you hammered those blades, you imbued them with the 2 swords and the dagger with your power, the cauldron's power. They're now magic blades. And I'm not talking nice, pretty magic. I'm talking big, ancient magic that hasn't been seen in a long, long time. There are no magic weapons left, none. They were either lost or destroyed or dumped in the sea. But you just made 3 of them. You created a new dead trove. You could create even more objects if you wish. Wait, hold on. Oh, here it is. We
So
don't know
fast!
yet. We don't know yet what manner of magic they have, but yes, she angled her head. And it wasn't the fact that she'd made those weapons that hit her like a blow. Who is we? And he was like, what? You said we don't know what manner of magic they have. Who is we? Reese and Feyre and the
so
others.
quick with it. Love it.
I love that she caught it. And how long have y'all known about this? He winced as he realized his error.
See,
Nesta,
how long had he kept it from her?
Yeah. Okay, rereading it. I mean, it wasn't like he was super.
He didn't immediately tell her.
Yeah,
And he had to be
didn't.
pestered to do it. It's the
How long?
same
Her
as
voice-
Reese knowing about the pregnancy and not telling her for months. Why did you
So
feel
basically, like Cassian like was excited and like wanted to talk to her about it, but then realized he had fucked up by like even bringing it up.
I know. Not good.
Cassian.
Not
But
good.
Cassian.
I feel like you're so excited to make these points and then you're like proven wrong.
I do. I psych myself up and I'm like, yeah, she could say this and this. And then I read it and I was like, I don't remember it being that way.
Because you were all into him the first time.
I was so into Cassian. I fucking read that book and I was like, this is the book I needed. This is the couple I needed. You know what I mean? Because like
That's
Reese and
what
Feyre.
That's what I wanted it to be, because after ACOWAR, I was like, oh, their book must be like so awesome. He must help her through her shit. And it's like, he was just like perpetuating more trauma. And I'm like,
I think
what the fuck?
but it's kind of hard because like Nesta's a hard person, right? Like we can all admit that. Like I can say that because I can tell you everything Nesta did is something I would have done.
Me too. Me too. Oh yeah, I'm definitely like Nesta.
I literally read that her character and I was like, I've never felt more seen in my life.
More seen in my life. Fuck you, I don't need anybody. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, like I'm convinced.
Hello,
like
Taurus.
Yeah, it's a Taurus thing.
Nesta is a Taurus.
Yeah, she's totally. So, but like I feel like sometimes I can be so stubborn, like Nesta, that it takes someone to be so effing mean to me and hurt me so bad for them to like, don't you agree?
And then I'm just like, I'm not speaking to you. I will come to you next. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when she was like, I'm calling in our bargain, leave. I was like,
I know. I've done
a
it
week
before.
or if I come to you.
And like, to be fair to Cassian, like, he was kind and like gave her space. He gave her space for a very long time. I think it was like a year after the war. Like, he let her sleep around. He had a good idea that she was doing it.
Okay, but can we at least agree that he acted super fucking immature and possessive in ACOSF?
In what part though? Are you talking
Every
about
part when they had a scene. The whole
No, I don't.
gift thing, he was pissed that she didn't want his gift. He followed her down the street. He literally stalked her from the rooftops. She was like, leave me the fuck alone.
Okay, but like, wouldn't you want a man to like love you so much that he like stalks you from rooftops? Even though he was just like making sure that she got home safe. You know
And
what
then
I mean?
staying
Like,
there and watching her sleep
no, he didn't. He did that for like 5 minutes.
for like 5 minutes.
It's like he like learned, like he heard the lock click and he was like, okay,
Okay, but like
I
the
guess
fact
I'm
where he's
going.
like, you need to take my gift. Yeah. He was so mad. She doesn't want a gift from you. You're a fucking stalker. Go away.
How dare you say that about Cassian? He is not a stalker,
Like, she
damn it.
wasn't into him at that point. Like, she was fucking traumatized, and all he could think about is getting fucking laid. Like, calm down.
First of all, you do not know that is all that Cassian was thinking about. You take that back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cassian's
Someone's
very,
quick off the
very
mark.
deep. He got excited. It's not a big deal. Here's my thing,
It's
though.
fine.
It's like
He was just jerking off every time he saw her right after.
like I said, I mean, they're mates. He should be, if he's jerking off to somebody, it should be Nesta. Do you want him jerking off to some other fae when he's like mated to someone else? No, absolutely not.
Okay, honestly, I kind of wanted to know more about his ex. Well, not ex, but his lover that died.
Really?
I was all
fine.
into that story, and it was like 2 lines. I was like, where's the rest?
I don't want to know about
How did
her
you meet? How did you fall in love? How, like, 2 generals? Hello, that's cool.
Yeah.
What? Come on, give us something, not just, oh, she was the general of the Valkyries, she went through the pass and never came back, and then I destroyed the study in my grief and rage. Tell me more. Was she the founder of the Valkyries? We don't know.
She was the head, right? Like she was the top.
General.
She was the general.
The 2 generals. See, I would rather think that Tanwin was his mate, and then Nesta's his want to be mate.
Because here's the thing, like in their relationship, you have one like very emotional, very sweet. I know you don't think he's a cinnamon roll, but like I kind of feel like he is. Like he can be.
He's more of a simp than a cinnamon roll.
Wait, can you
He's more of a himbo.
What's a simp? He is not a himbo. Take that back right now. And I hate when people call him that. He's not a fucking himbo. He's so smart. He reads books about war. He knows tons of strategy.
He reads books about war. Ken's job is war.
I knew it. I fucking knew you were gonna say that. No. And by the way, I did not like the Barbie movie. Just for anyone who watched it.
Fucking hilarious. Cassian is Ken. That's why you don't like it.
No, he's not. He's not fucking Ken. Don't you dare say that.
She's Barbie. He's just Ken.
No. I know. I scroll Instagram and whenever I see like people being like Cassian is a himbo, I'm like, do you guys even know what a himbo is? Because that's not Cassian. You know what, Melody? I'm gonna say such slanderous shit about Azriel just to get under your skin.
I'm definitely. If you don't think I'm gonna make a Barbie meme now for the,
if you make a Barbie meme, I'm gonna troll it so bad. I'm gonna say such nasty things on it. Who makes this shit?
She's Barbie. He's just Ken.
No, Ken has so much going for him. What are
I
you
mean,
talking about?
Cassian doesn't even have his own Mojo Dojo Casa house. So he doesn't even have that.
He's earned
Azriel
it.
has his own house that he lets his mom live in. Moore has her own house in Valahan.
Wait,
Where's Cassian's house? He
when
doesn't
did we
have
find?
one.
Wait, when did we find out that Azrael had his own house?
It says that the she that they were visiting, it says his place in whatever it was, Rose Hall.
I totally missed that. He had his own place. What?
Yeah. That's why everyone's like, it's his mom. Who else would live in his house?
Yeah.
It's his mom.
Wait, but then Cass. Okay. Also, like this is super sneaky of
Cassian's
SJM
just slumming it. He's
God
just
damn
the
it,
little orphan in the tent for life.
Well, you want to know what? Cassian and neither Cassian nor Nesta had their own Mojo Dojo Casa house, and now they do. They have the House of Winds together. It was their present because they both earned it.
Yes, it was their gift, but is it in their name? I doubt it, because Reese is like, I still need to use it for important meetings. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Then it's
that's
not their
true.
house.
I'm like, I need to reread. I just don't want to.
I want them both to move out and like go somewhere else. If they're actually mates and if Cassian actually gets better, but I don't really have any faith that he will. Honestly.
I will say I'm like curious to see if she's gonna write him in Flame and Shadow.
If he's still not gonna say I love you.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up. I agree with that. Like,
you know what?
That was my complaint from that book.
I know exactly what she's saving it for.
What? Okay. Don't say it
right
tonight,
before he dies. He's
No.
gonna say, Nessa, I love you.
No, because you're just gonna piss me the fuck off.
Right before he dies,
he's not gonna die.
I love you, and then he's gonna die.
Okay. So another thing that I've been thinking about, because I've been thinking long and hard, and although there's not.
Are we gonna fact check it again?
I read that. I was like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. And I'm like, furiously like swiping the pages. Where's the quip? Where's the joke? He never fucking makes it.
That's literally me every time someone insults Tamlin. I'm like, you have so much shit saved on my phone. It's ridiculous.
I love it. I know.
Running out of storage.
No, me too. I just take screenshots like all the time. So, what was I telling you?
Something about Cassian.
Him died. Okay, so you know how you and I were having that conversation in our last podcast? We were talking about the Koshi mythology or whatever, the urban legend, and how this is going to be Azrael's book, which we know it is basically. And in it, we see that the three husbands of the sisters is Rhysand and Cassian
and Lucien.
So we know Cassian's not going to die because he's literally in the Koshi book. Like, he's a really big deal.
But Koshi, if he's the astronomer, would be in Hofas.
Yeah, but the Koshi book is going to be after Flame and Shadow.
It might not be. It could be the same thing, because we're talking about because, again, remember the whole 15,000 years ago, the only person who's 15,000 years old is Koshi. So he would know the Asteri. He knows the Asteri.
So,
and he was spelled to his lake by Thea. Koshi is a death god, but I think I've said this, but in every little like pair, like the gods, the Fae, the Asteri, all of this, there's always an outlier. So like I said, how the bone carver like was afraid of his siblings and all of this. But I think Koshi probably didn't care that much about the Asteri, but that's why they were all spelled to their places, right? Because they were probably either aiding them or just not doing anything about it. Because the princes were really the ones that helped.
Yeah,
And with
it
the
was the
princes,
princess.
and with the princes, as we know, the outlier is Thanatos, who's literally like, "Oh, I'll eat them too."
Yeah, like I'll eat your
And he was
starlight.
spelled to Human City, must have been, because he
Had to be.
hasn't left.
Because he can't leave.
Can't
No,
leave.
he can't
I would
leave.
assume he can't leave. So, yeah,
I think that's a very safe and like a very smart theory. Like I agree with that completely, actually.
because
But
I mean, she could do a whole book with Koshi and Lucien and Elaine and all of that, but I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do this whole big war or whatever, like, just get them over with at the same time. Because we're gonna have a war every book now. That would be repetitive. I'd rather a whole new plot, honestly, for the Aleutian book whenever we get it. And the Gwynreal book, really. But
the problem is like I really don't see where she could possibly take everyone else's books. Like honestly, like
Aleutian, we have the whole day court thing. We have the reveal about Lucien being Helian's son. We have the Pegasus. We have whatever
feel like that's
Lucian's
so
powers
minor?
are.
don't you feel like it's really minor though? Like, so he's gonna find out Helian's his dad. That's like a conversation, right?
But it depends on if Baron is alive, like what the consequences are, what happens to his mother.
The
You know,
only
if
the way
Eris
that
gets to be High Lord too, because he's part of his family. What
yeah,
happens to the other 3 brothers that are still alive that are just like Baron? Are they just going to outrightly kill them? And then we have Elaine having to actually make the decision to choose Lucien, which could take half the book, honestly. And then choosing him
just
and
so
then being
awful.
like, okay, do I want to move out of the night court and leave my sisters? Which we know Farah isn't going to be cool with. Nesta
No.
probably won't be cool with it.
Well, and it was interesting because I know we've talked about this before. The mom doesn't want them splitting up. She made that very obvious.
To Farah, which is weird.
Which is super
Because she
weird.
never cared about Farah.
And it's weird
Just
that, like,
everything about the mom is weird, and I don't think she's dead, honestly.
I mean, maybe she's not.
Could she be one of the women that Koshi has?
I've thought about that, or like,
Well, they all have white wings or whatever, but again, the Archerons can't be fully human. I just feel like
there's
they're
no
not.
way.
They wouldn't have survived that long on, like,
No.
what did she say, like a couple meals a week or something in the winter, and then they had to like have the tiniest little portions, and just the fact that like it was freezing, they barely had any food, like they lived that long.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I almost feel like Bryce and Feyre are related because they both have a human line running through them. They both have Starborn power.
That's if Ember is fully human. She could be half. Like
that's what I
she
mean.
could be related
Like,
to Helion. But it doesn't have to be the same human line. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that the Fae warrior line that the Bone Carver was talking about actually isn't the Archerons. I think it's Ember's.
really?
Because I probably brought this up a million times before, but why exactly would Bryce be that powerful?
Yeah, but we did say that her power is really weird because it wasn't registered on any of Einar's charts. It wasn't, which is really bizarre to me.
He doesn't have the Starborn power. Like, it runs through his line, I guess, but he doesn't have it.
I know it runs through his line, yeah.
Yeah.
So
then it must have had to have also run through Ember's line at some point, because then why would she get all of it? That's why Rune only has a speck, because Einar's like, oh, it's from me. I don't think it's from him, but you got nothing, bitch. You got nothing.
I know. I'm like,
but at the same time, like, she has none of his fire.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of, because there is a couple sentences that mention her
with the fire
or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think that Bryce knows more than she's telling us.
Yeah.
And like I think there's a lot more going on than we
I don't
know.
think Bryce knows more than she's telling us. I think Ember knows more than she's telling us. And
I-
that's why she's getting the bonus chapter.
I still get chills every time I think about that scene that with the closet. I'm like, oh my
Did you
freaking God,
read
that'd
it?
be amazing. So fucking good. I haven't read the Tamlin and
Lucien?
Lauren one.
Oh, Lauren.
But the fucking closet. I have to
Did
make a
you
post
like
about
it?
So good. I read it and I was like, Melanie.
Chills.
When are you gonna get published? Because your writing is phenomenal.
I see.
Really,
I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it. But I did have someone comment on my reel that I put up today of I actually finished chapter 76 of my main fic. Finally, it's been like a month and a half. I was pretty slow. But it's a really intense Tamlin and Feyre fight. She goes to the Spring Court border and with the excuse of like, well, my sister's here and I want to make sure she's safe because it was like the Spring Court reopening festival or whatever. And they get into it. Like,
do they really?
awful jabs. And also
Good.
she's postpartum, she's hormonal. She's very unhinged.
When is she not?
Well, she just like sees him and he just triggers everything for her. And oh my God. Yeah.
I honestly don't want to read it because I can't handle it.
I was mad at myself.
No, I don't want to read it.
But anyway, someone commented on the reel of the sneak peek and they're like, what's the name of the book or whatever? I was like, oh, it's my continuation fanfic. And they're like, I literally thought it was SJM. I was like, thanks. So I gave them the link.
Have they read any of it yet?
I think they're gonna start tomorrow. So
yeah. You're a fantastic writer. Like seriously, I mean, your writing is one of the best. Like your fanfics are the best I honestly have read.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm not just saying that. I mean, like it's really, really good.
Thanks. Yeah, there's been a couple chapters where I was like, how dare I write this?
I know. I'll have to like ask you questions about your writing because I'm like, why do writers write what they write? Like, why do you torture us
for
like,
the emotions?
But why? Like, so apparently, I don't know if you've ever read Once Upon a Broken Heart or by Stephanie Garber.
I did get the third book. I haven't read it yet though.
Yeah, I got the third book too. So apparently people are like super disappointed in
Mad that the questions aren't answered or something. I saw that. I'm like,
they said that like Jax isn't in it at all, basically. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be mad if I get into that series. That's like what happened with Tamlin. Why does she end up with someone else?
No, I don't. I haven't finished it. But my point is like, why do they do this to us? Like, she knew we wanted to see Eva and Jax, and she didn't include him in it. It's the same with Tamlin. Like, Tamlin's like, he was such a huge key player, and then it's like, blah, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like going back to Ember really quick.
Yes, I love Ember. I love talking about her.
So Miriam, again, half fae, half mortal, but she had all of the features of a mortal. She had a mortal lifespan. So Ember might not know she's half fae.
Is Ember from Miriam's line?
She could be. I don't know.
Would they be related?
Well, Miriam's people were half fae, so they came from like all over.
Okay.
The Blacklands or whatever, because then they were like slaves to the Queen of the Blackland, who was like Amarantha or whatever, which I thought was weird. I feel like the Queen of the Blackland, they could have made the Queen of the Blackland Clithia.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And they didn't, so there was just this random unknown queen. So I'm wondering, since it's never brought up, I'm wondering if the Queen of the Blackland was the evil opposite of Thea.
What makes you say that?
Just like the way that she was described and the way that like she wanted Dracon to be her husband and she gifted him a slave for their wedding night or whatever, and he like
Which
fell
is
for
so
Miriam
weird.
instead, and he was like he like let her go, and then the queen was pissed and she wanted to kill them, and like very Amarantha.
Yeah. What was her sister? I mean, they're like,
But what was she related to Amarantha? Like we didn't get that. She wasn't related to her because it was just Amarantha and Clithia.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I always thought,
She's just queen of the Blacklands and she's
Yeah.
dead now. Like, what was the point of that if it wasn't gonna come back? Like, was she Thea's evil twin?
I feel like at the end of these books, it's gonna be like she'll reveal it and we'll be like, how the fuck did we not pick up on any of this?
I just find the whole Miriam Dracon Blackland thing very weird.
It was a weird like plot line to include in the book because they were so like
Random.
it was random and they like were so unimportant. I mean, they came and saved the day at
yeah.
right, like they came and
Yeah.
saved the day at the end, but like
It was the
we don't
whole
even-
like it was the whole Moses thing. They parted the sea and all that.
but
But
like I still don't understand what they added to the story.
well, so she had to introduce the Seraphim because it leads back to the Asteri. As we know, they made the angels. So, but wouldn't that basically mean that at their base the angels are more evil?
They totally, absolutely, that's what that means. So,
But like Dracon wasn't. Their people aren't, and they're half, or they're Seraphim and half Fae, half mortals. So like,
you know what? I wonder.
but again,
if she's gonna
outliers.
do- Yeah,
Amryn
but
was.
here's the thing: is Reese gave the cauldron to them, which I always thought was so weird.
I know.
So here, I think what's gonna happen is that like we're gonna find out that Miriam and like Dracon or like their group of people are like actually angels and like really bad, and they have the cauldron, and then there's gonna be a fight for that. Like that's how I see it
I
happening.
saw someone bring up a quote from the Bone Carver that I must have skimmed over. It was always weird to me, but I don't think I highlighted it or anything. And I want to read it to you because
Read it to me.
it's very suspicious. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I didn't highlight it. The Bone Carver bit out a harsh laugh even as I gaped at Reese. "You were always my favorite," he said, giving a smile I would never for a moment think was childlike. The cauldron was hidden at the bottom of a frozen lake in Lapland. ... Reese began to turn for me as if he'd head there right now, but the Bone Carver added, "and vanished a long, long time ago. I don't know where it went, or where it is now. Millennia before you were born, the 3 feet on which it stands were successfully cleaved from its base in an attempt to fracture some of its power. It worked barely. Removing the feet was like cutting off the first knuckle of a finger. Irksome, but you could still use the rest with some difficulty." Where is Lapland? It was at the bottom of a frozen lake?
A frozen lake is. Are we bringing in the winter
Are we
court
bringing
here?
the
Is that
winter
what's-
core? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it the castle that's near Koshi's Lake?
Because I also thought about Koshi's Lake
Is it
too.
Koshi's Lake? Yeah, don't they said that he has a castle under the water.
Is that what that's at? Is that what happened? So Koshi had the cauldron.
Cleaved
Why?
it and like ditched it? It's the void that they all came from, right?
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Which brings me to what I actually screenshotted, because I did some screenshots earlier.
I also, while you're finding that screenshot, I also want to say, like, I find it interesting that the Bone Carver, like, Reese is the favorite of who?
The
You
Bone
were always
Carver.
I know, but like, you were always my favorite of all of the Fae, my favorite High Lord, my favorite what?
Demon.
Demon?
My favorite Prince of Hell.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he meant. Like, you were my favorite Prince of Hell, like, out of all of them.
But
Yeah.
again, I think he probably descends from him. You were always my favorite kin.
Yeah, family. You were always my favorite family member, Kin.
And while I'm searching for this, I was talking on the chat earlier. I was ranting about it, which I think I might have said before. But the fact that Reese could just walk into the Weaver's cottage and make her a bargain to fight in the war.
I know.
Which is kind of a retcon from how he acted in ACOMAF. Like, I'm gonna stay in this tree. I'm not getting close. Why? Is it because she would have recognized him in front of Feyre?
Interesting. Would she have said something like, hey, Princeling,
High Lord, or Prince, or
Demon, or
would they bow to the Princes of Hell? Do they...
God of the Underworld?
I don't know. And someone else, I think it was Amanda, brought up this point, but he literally tells us, like, oh, my mom gave the ring to the Weaver for safekeeping. She gave it to her.
Yeah. How does your mom know the Weaver, and like why would she give it to her? Yes.
Personally. So my theory, as we know, is that she was a necromancer because of the star that was in the ring. So that would make her have some sort of sway over death as well. And so maybe, I don't know, their power counteracted each other, or again, their kin, like, because she would have been some sort of great aunt.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, or like they're they're like in a coven together. I don't know. Like,
would it be through? I'm like, oh, Weaver, can you just hold this
for my son's future wife? Like,
yeah, try to kill her and see if she can get out of your clutches.
I think it was you or someone who brought up in the group chat, though, calling like Rethan's mom the ultimate toxic mother-in-law. Like she gives the ring to the Weaver. She like sews all of your dresses for you, which like some people would have a problem
all the
with.
slutty ass dresses.
I love that little picture that someone sent where it was like, son, your wife's gonna look beautiful in this, and it's just like super slutty.
I'm gonna make this so sexy for your mate. And he's like, Mom.
I know. So funny. I do like,
and again, the ring, like, I'll always be with you as long as you have the ring. Like, it's fucking weird, bro.
It's so weird. And if we've learned anything, like,
her soul
SJM,
is in that ring or connected to that ring.
Yes, it has to be like it's like the ring, like Amarantha's ring with Jurian, right? Like they can survive in that ring. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really weird to me.
There is a quote. It's like a split-second little thing where Feyre's wearing the ring and she glances at it and she's like, oh, I could have sworn that it like glimmered like a soul or something. And I was like, it's like this literal split-second comment.
Was that an ACOMAF? Let me see.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
Let me find it.
I can't find it right now. But anyways, let's go back to what we were originally talking about real quick with the cauldron. I'm gonna just read you a couple quotes.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is in ACOWAR when Feyre is connected to the cauldron. I managed to stand to take one step before I felt it, the thing in the cauldron, or lack of it. It was lack and substance, absence and presence, and it was leaking into the world. I dared a step toward it, and what I beheld in those ruins of the cauldron, it was a void, but also not a void, a growth. It did not belong here or belong anywhere. What was in the cauldron still? What was in it?
A growth?
What was in it? Because we know it's the void that everyone came from. But
what was it growing?
But also not a void, a growth.
A growth. I do not remember that. That's really interesting to me.
It did not belong here, belong anywhere. What? Is it like Bryce coming through the, like, I don't.
Like a growth of like a portal like opening? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe? I don't know. But
Maybe.
this is an ACOWAR, so I don't know. And
Wait, here we
then
are.
And then this is what I actually really want to talk about. But this is like the same sort of scene. This was after Amryn, whatever, broke the cauldron or whatever. Feyre says, I ran for the book, flinging open the pages. But the gold was engraved with symbols. Only one being on this earth knew how to read it, Amryn, and she was gone. I hurled the damn thing into the void inside the cauldron. It vanished and did not appear again. So we know it was in Jessica's library. But the gold was engraved with symbols. Keep that in mind. And then we flip back to when she was with Lucien in the Spring Court when they were trying to fight Brannet and Dagden. And it says, Lucien finally looked at me, the intricate pieces and carvings on his metal eye much more dazzling up close.
What are you doing, Yuan?
Oh no. Oh no.
Yuan.
Is he gonna be like deathless? Like, is he preferred by the Cauldron too, like Elaine? Because, like, I don't know. They both have word marks. His eye has word marks.
I know. Apparently, that's discussed in detail in Tog. We really need to read Tog. Apparently. Where is it word marks?
Yeah.
Why would they be in his eye?
Why?
Why?
Why are they in his eye?
Why
New
are
on.
they there?
Girly.
New on.
Girly pop. And then there was this, which goes with my whole thing, like, Feyre's also Starborn, and I'm like, we didn't really see it except for when she had sex with Rhys and glowed, but we did, and I found it. This
Where?
is also when she's in Spring. It's, I think, during the part where she stole the thunder from Ianthe. It was awesome.
I loved it.
I released the damper on my power that I had unleashed in Highburn, my body turning incandescent as light shone through, pure as day, pure as starlight. I turned to Lucien, my light radiating so brightly that it bounced off his metal eye, a friend beseeching another for help, and I reached a hand toward him. Lucien took my hand and then knelt upon one knee in the grass, pressing my fingers to his brow. I let my glow spread until it too rippled from Lucien's bowed form. A knight before his queen.
Okay, so I thought that part was always really weird.
Like what Margellis told Bryce. The people that make your light come out are your knights. Your trusted people.
But she's so awful to Lucien. Maybe this is why we lost followers, because I went on a Feyre hating rant.
I don't care. I don't like her either. But she's fucking Starborn. And it spread to Lucien. Which Bryce has never spread to anyone. So is his Starborn reacting to her Starborn? And
I don't know. I don't know.
A knight before his queen? Like Rune and Hunt and Ethan and Therian to Bryce?
I'm gonna be super bummed out though if like Lucien is bowing to Feyre. Like I kind of feel like it should be the other way around. Do you know what I mean? Like it should be Lucien High King and Feyre is like bowing to him. I don't know. It bothers me. It rubs me the wrong way.
Well, if we have two Starborn princesses in one realm, I don't know.
Yeah, but we know Bryce won't be staying. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird.
But I feel
I almost feel like Feyre and Bryce would not like each other.
That's what I'm saying. I think she's more of a Nesta girl.
I feel like
I'm gonna be mad
Bryce...
if she's like BFFs with Feyre. She would hate Feyre.
I don't think she would like Feyre. Like I don't.
I don't feel like she would like Feyre either.
I feel like she would be like Feyre's like kind of manipulative and
Very.
I don't know.
Very.
Like Bryce is like pretty straightforward and like calls it as it is.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I feel like there is still a reason why we haven't seen Lucien really use his powers.
I mean, but we've seen him use it,
Like,
just like not enough.
Just the
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the spell cleaving, which people are like, I didn't even realize it was spell cleaving because he didn't really mention it as spell cleaving. Remember, he
No,
told
he
Feyre it
didn't.
was a Dawn Court power, which it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I know. Well, and the way it was written in the book, like
Yeah.
when I went back and reread it, I was like, she kind of makes it very vague that like he spell cleaved it. You know what I mean? She was very vague about that.
So, but if you read the scene, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to go back right now, but I'm almost positive that when Lucien gets out of the chains, the light is described like very similarly to like Feyre cleaving the wards around the place. So then again, in this scene, it says, I released the damper on the power that I had unleashed in Hybern. That's also Lucien's power. Is that why it spread to him? They have the same fucking power.
Maybe it's maybe like calls to like they always
exactly.
Like to say.
Exactly. I never caught that it spread through his form too until I reread this.
I didn't even catch it until you were explaining it to me right now. I literally just thought it was like
rippled from his bowed form. It spread from Feyre, but it rippled from Lucien. My boy. Secrets.
Yeah,
Secrets.
so many secrets.
Secrets.
So many.
But I was like, the night, and then I go, the night.
I know. Favorites. So like how many are there in the Knights of the it's 13, right? Am I crazy?
Oh god. I have no idea.
Knights of the Round Table. Hold on, let me look.
But you know what I do want to mention? How come her glow doesn't come out in front of Cassian, Azriel, Moore, Amren?
Knights of really?
Only Lucien and Rhys?
And Rhys.
And didn't it come out for Tamlin too? I'm pretty sure she glowed for Tamlin.
I don't think she did.
I think she did. No,
really?
she definitely did because that's
when?
why he I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't want her to train, right? Because he said like if Hybern sees
that
your
glow.
light or your power, it'll be like a beacon, remember?
12 Knights of the Round Table. 12 or 13.
The 13.
13 active Knights of the Round Table. 13 seats. So like it would it be all of the characters? Like
Night Court and I don't know.
So Feyre's Knights, Lucien, Rhysand, Cassian, Azriel, Moore, Amren.
Tamlin,
maybe. Eris. I'm at 8.
Vivian, Callias.
Helion.
Thesan,
I'm at 12. Tarquin. 13.
21. Maybe.
Yeah. 14. I don't know. Interesting. I'll have to count Crescent Cities too and see what I think. How many there are in that too.
Before you go really quick, remember when we were discussing Rhys and Tamlin and how someone mentioned that he flicks dust off of him?
That what?
Remember when he said that he like picked dust off of him? We're like, that never happened or whatever. It did, but it was an ACOWAR.
When?
It says when he comes to get, or maybe ACOMF, when he comes to get Feyre. It's an ACOMF. Are you running low on food here? Ugh. What? Tamlin demanded. Those violet eyes had gone cold. Rhys extended a hand toward me. Let's go. Tamlin was in his face in an instant, and I flinched. Get out, he pointed toward the staircase. She'll come to you when she's ready. Rhysand just brushed an invisible fleck of dust off of Tamlin's sleeve. Part of me admired the sheer nerve it must have taken. Had Tamlin's teeth been inches from my throat, I would have bleated in panic. Dust off of him. Fucker.
He is such a turd.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
For context, we're shitting on Reese about gaslighting Feyre into getting the Book of Breathings and how he claimed he didn't know she was drowning or Amarin or whatever. And he's supposedly the most powerful High Lord and he couldn't get it or whatever. And his excuse was just like, well, you know, I don't have Tarquin's water power. Like, I can't get through his wards or whatever, which, okay.
Maybe.
But you're going to tell Feyre, like, if you don't get it, everyone's going to die. That's not a choice, Mr. Choices. That's really not a choice at all.
No, I don't think it is a choice. And so what started this conversation is Melanie and I were talking about this video that we saw on Instagram from the Real Life Book Reviewer, I think is her page is called. And her husband was talking about Feyre and just like
Jared.
laughing about how, about Jared, how she was just being so ridiculous when like Reese didn't tell her about the mate bond and stuff. So Mel and I have been going back and forth about like, was Reese in the right? Was Reese not in the right? Does he gaslight her? And I do think he gaslights her. Like, definitely.
I do think he shouldn't have told her immediately.
No, he did the right thing in that sense.
But months later, and then you're making her get her engagement ring and she still doesn't fucking know.
It's so funny because like I knew immediately when he was like, I need you to go retrieve this thing in the weavers.
Yeah,
I was like, it's her wedding ring. I knew it.
Bitch.
I knew it.
Okay, going back to me and my fandoms again really quick because I just thought of this. Yeah. I don't think Reese ever touches the Book of Breathings, does he?
It's all Feyre and Amarin.
Like he looks over it, right? Like he
he
looks over it, but I don't think he ever touches it, does he?
And no, like he doesn't.
If I'm wrong, because I don't remember him touching it.
No, and you want to know what? It never addresses him either. Like the Book of Breathing, like it talks to Feyre. It talks, you know what I mean?
Amarin.
But it never talks to Reese, which is interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think he didn't have it in his jacket, right? Feyre had it in her. Feyre had
I think
it.
so. Let me look it up so that we can like actually.
Because I have such a good point. Going back to Charmed again, that just influences me.
Before we do it, it was in ACOMAF, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going into, and then it was, let me just find the Book of Breathings real quick.
Yeah.
By the way, how cute is my background?
It's so cute. I love it.
Isn't
we should literally just do that, but
I know.
You know what?
It's like
I spent too much time and effort putting up these bookshelves for nobody to see them.
But yours look, so your room is beautiful. Like I just have my bookcase. Wait a second.
If everybody wants to see, I put up another shelf, a third shelf there, and then I have like all that stuff and a shelf there. And
Reese does pick it up.
He does?
Sorry. Go ahead. Wait, I want to see your shelves again. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. And my bookshelf.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Look at
I
you.
put, like, the mask and stuff up there. That was the Cassian. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but that was the Cassian that I texted you. I was like, I walked into my room and Cassian's beheaded. It's foreshadowing.
I was so pissed. I was like, of course, it's Cassian.
Beheaded on the ground.
You purposely did it.
Head back on. But does it respond to him though? Like, does it do anything?
Okay, so this is ACOMAF chapter 57. It's page 1076. I'm so glad that I highlighted
on
it.
Kindle, right?
Yeah, mine's Apple Books, but
okay.
I assume it's the same.
Okay. Maybe.
And so, and also I want to say something about, there's this whole thing about a better world, but I'll talk about that later with Papa Archeron. So yeah, it's starting on page 1076. I read your letter about the woman you love. I believe you and I believe in peace. And I think that this is Reese and one of the mortal queens talking.
Yeah.
I believe in a better world. I believe in a better world. This is the mortal
Sneaky
queen.
fucker.
If if anyone asks, you stole this during the meeting, do not trust the others. The sixth queen was not ill. That was it. Rhys picked up the book of breathings, light and dark and gray, and light and dark and gray. He said to my two sisters, Cassian sticking close to Nesta, it is your choice, ladies, whether you wish to remain here or come with us. You have heard the situation at hand. You have done the math about evacuation. A nod of approval as he met Nesta's gray blue stare. Should you choose to remain, a unit of my soldiers will be here within the hour to guard this place. Should you wish to come to live with us in that city, we just showed them, I'd suggest packing now. So
But
he
is it the
touches it.
whole book or is it the half of the book?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. It just says he literally picks up the book
because
of
they
breathings. Oh, wait. Okay. And here it is. Okay. I just wanted to talk about what the book says.
Yeah.
So a box that she must have removed from wherever she had been hiding it when she leaned down to pick up her handkerchief. Rhys had known it, had stopped speaking to get them out as fast as possible. How and where she'd smuggled in that lead box was the least of my concerns, not as the voice of the second and final piece of the book filled the room, sang to me. So it was half of it, Melanie. Life and death and rebirth, sun and moon and dark, rot and bloom and bones. Hello, sweet thing. Hello, lady of the night, princess of decay. Hello, fanged beast. Who's the fanged beast? And trembling fawn. Love me, touch me.
Fanged beast is Nesta. Trembling fawn is Elaine.
She's the fanged beast? I didn't know that.
She must
Love
be.
me, touch me, sing me. Is what it says. How do you?
But Rhys picked up half the book.
So he still picked it up.
But its full power is when it's together, right? Because that's what Feyre uses for the cauldron. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to Charmed again because I don't know, this kind of just went in my head. For all of you that watch it, and for those of you that don't watch it, I'll just explain real quick. So basically, in Charmed, there's 3 sister witches, and they are the pinnacle of good. Basically, their bloodline got stronger and stronger, which led up to them, and they're called the Charmed Ones. And they are the strongest band of witches in the world, and their sole purpose is to basically destroy evil. So like they, take down all these demons and everything, and they have their book called the Book of Shadows, and it has all of their bloodlines, things that they've written on the different demons that they've battled. And so every time like a different demon comes up, they have to look in the Book of Shadows, see how to defeat them and things like this. But the thing with the Book of Shadows is that every single demon wants the Book of Shadows, because if you have the Book of Shadows and you take it away from the Charmed Ones, they're kind of powerless because they don't have the information they need. And their powers are directly connected to the book. So there's an episode where like they have this huge blow up fight and they use their powers on each other, and the book nullifies itself and they can't use it, and all the pages become blank. And demons can't physically touch the book. If they go near it, it like shields itself and it moves itself away from the demon. So it won't let a demon even touch it, pick it up, anything. It like blasts them back from it. And so that's why I was thinking, like, if Rhys is a prince of hell and the book is connected to the cauldron, if it would be like very averse to him handling it.
I like that idea. I like it. It doesn't look like it was a verse though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only half of it. So like, if there was a page ripped out of like the Book of Shadows and just sitting on like the counter or whatever, like a demon could pick it up. Yeah. But they can't touch the whole book in its entirety. So I'm like,
I don't know.
But like, it never talks to him. It ignores him.
Well, okay, let me double check on that actually.
Oh, I think. I don't remember it ever talking to him. Like, it calls Feyre like the Lady of Many Faces.
I remember that.
Sweet-tongued liar.
Yes.
I love how everyone says that Tamlin's the liar. And I'm like, you literally have the whole ass book of breathings calling her sweet-tongued liar.
Oh, I know.
What the hell?
Okay, wait. Here we go.
I want it to call him out. I don't remember it calling him out or even paying attention to him at all.
So I pointed, nausea rolling there. It's down there. Cassian took the stairs. Valerian blade stained with dark blood. Neither Moore nor Azrael seemed to breathe until Cassian's low whistle bounced off the stairwell stones from below. Moore put a hand on my back and we descended into darkness. Home. The Book of Breathing sighed. Home. Cassian was standing in a round chamber beneath the castle, a ball of phalite floating above his shoulder, and in the center of the room, atop a small dais, sat the cauldron. Let me see. The paper trembled as I pulled it from my pocket as my fingers brushed the half of the book inside. Sweet-tongued liar. I love that it calls Feyre a liar.
I know.
Sweet-tongued liar, lady of many faces. She is a liar. I'm sorry, but
someone said that Aelin is called the Queen of Many Faces.
Is she?
And isn't that the book that's in Crescent City? Queen of Many Faces?
I don't know.
It is.
I love it though.
It is.
Lovely girl, beautiful bird, so sweet, so generous. Together,
Right, so I just want
it
to
starts
read
chanting.
this post
Yes,
from
you can
Tumblr,
see now,
and then I'm
Princess of
gonna
Carrion. You
read
can
my
see
response.
what you must do. I don't know, but
It's
they also call her
kinda,
beautiful
well, it's about
bird,
Feyre.
a lovely
It's not about
girl.
Cassian. It's about
so
Feyre.
sweet,
But it was
so
very
generous.
true, so I needed to say it.
Carrion
And
is
apologies
Carrion is
if
literally
you
the
stopped
dead
watching
carcass
because of our
birds.
Feyre hatred, but you knew that we
She's
were
a raven.
anti-Fae
She's the
fans,
other raven
so
that we
that's
talked
on
about.
you. But anyways, the username is 0LK0S. I don't know. I started following them, but it's titled Mischaracterization of Feyre Archeron by the whole entirety of the ACOTAR fandom. Feyre Archeron decided on her own to go into the woods and learn how to hunt. She assessed her family's situation, the state and skills of her family members, and her own skills. After that, she came to the conclusion that she was the best option to hunt, obviously. And she was right, because she was smart. For the love of God, let's stop acting like she was forced by her sisters into doing that. She's a good person and a fucking genius at this point. She learned how to hunt on her own. She was 14 years old, right? Saying that she was forced is disrespectful to her character and who her character was. It's giving credit to Nesta for something that she wouldn't consider a possibility. In no universe would she see hunting as a potential survival strategy. They were all girls, so in Nesta's eyes, their only way to secure wealth was to be wedded. As her mother was, right? Was literally hammering into them.
Right.
Feyre wasn't brainwashed by their mother like the other two, and saw what needed to be done and who was the most suited for it. You all want to make her this martyr and victim, but her family situation is nothing compared to her being abducted to Prithian, then being tortured, hunted for sport, and literally killed under the mountain. She earned her martyrhood there and then, and no earlier. Obviously. Also, let me say this once, she wasn't abused by Nesta. She was the sole provider for said sister. If anything, she held all the power in that house. We can't understand the complexity of their sisterhood because we've been in that house for only a few pages. Therefore, it would have been impossible. And then she put, Nesta and Elaine should be thankful. Girl, shut the fuck up and eat your food. What Feyre did was incredible, and I'm telling you right now, if you think she did it because she wanted gratitude, read the book again. The way they react to their circumstances is valid, and Feyre doesn't hold it against them, unlike some other characters I see. Also, the fact that some of you love to self-insert into being Feyre isn't helping, so please leave her alone. She was a very smart female. She isn't always the victim of her circumstances. By enforcing certain narratives, y'all are discrediting her very character, and it needs to stop. I loved that because book one Feyre would never do any of the shit that she did. She was
Agreed.
Smart. She was naive, obviously. She was a teenager, but she was fucking smart.
She was smart. She was athletic.
Made a fucking Suriel herself. Come on.
Yeah.
And so, this is my response. I said, See, we get this narrative from the fandom because SJM writes it into the narrative of the books what we must believe. We are to believe that if Feyre is of free and sound mind and Rhys has never controlled her, and yet when she makes bad choices out of her free will and hurts people, fucks everyone over, or does bad shit that she should regret, somehow it is anyone else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Feyre mindfucks everyone in spring and gets them killed or trampled. Welp, must be Tamlin's fault for not telling her he was a spy. Feyre destroys an army that they need in the war. Well, it must be Tamlin's fault for getting her angry. Feyre has PTSD and doesn't communicate her needs. Well, must be Lucien's fault because he didn't speak up for her. Feyre made her mom a deathbed promise, learned how to hunt, and then told herself to do so because of said promise. Well, it must be Nesta's fault because she's the oldest sister. It's fucking ridiculous, but we even get lines like this that prove she will never take responsibility for her own actions. So these are quotes from the book. Jaw tight with a hint of frustration, Lucien excused himself to his room. Frustration and perhaps disappointment. I blocked it out, what it did to my stomach. And then we have, at least you have armies to give it to, Tamlin said mildly, breaking his roiling silence. A smile at me, though perhaps that was part of your plan, disable my force while your own swept in, or was it just to see my people suffer? A headache was beginning to pound at my right temple. Surely you knew that when you turned my forces on me, it would leave my people defenseless against Hybern. I said nothing, even as I blocked the images from my mind. You primed my court to fall, Tamlin said with venomous quiet, and it did. Those villages you wanted so badly to help rebuild, they're nothing more than cinders now. I shut that out too. Must be fucking nice for her to block out all of her wrongdoings, then have Rhys tell her to never feel guilty. SJM's narrative forces on us that she did what she had to when she 100% didn't have to do any of it.
Amen. 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 Amen to that. Like, beautifully said. That was a very good response. And that's
I
the
had to get the quotes. There's more, probably, but
yeah.
those were the ones that I could remember.
I'm literally so glad that you got the quotes because people are like, oh, Feyre's such a victim. Like, literally, like you've been talking about. Listen to the quotes. She blocks out what she's done to everybody around her.
Yeah. And I've said before, like, the whole Springcourt thing, oh, well, she warned Tamlin that she would take him down.
Yeah.
Okay, even if you, someone said this on Instagram, if you warn someone you're going to kill them and then you kill them, you're still a fucking murderer.
Yes. It doesn't change it. It doesn't. You're not exempt. And like, what's scary is I don't understand where this like mindset comes from. Where people are like, if you warn someone and then you do something bad,
boss move.
Yeah, you're not a bad person. What the fuck? You're a bad fucking person, and you want to know what?
You. If I stab you, I'm still going to jail.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That doesn't change what happened.
That doesn't change what you chose to do.
So either people don't want to grow up and look at their actions,
outside
which I'm
of
wondering if that's
tunnel vision.
Yeah. Is that what's going on here?
And then, like, yeah, it's her fucking rose-colored glasses. Everyone is self-inserting themselves as Feyre. Oh, I'm Feyre. Oh, I'm a victim. Oh, I'm Feyre. I'm like, you're not fucking Feyre. Can you look at the other characters' perspectives here? And then that whole quote, which, again, I probably bring this up a million times. I don't remember. But the quote, like, before, when Ianthe has the whole idea to steal the keys from the Sentry and to get this whole thing rolling for Hybern, presumably, Feyre had been in her mind, had seen her plan, and followed her to the Sentry's shed, didn't stop her, followed her, watched her take the keys, watched her give them to the Naga, which again, how is she giving them to monsters without being killed? But that's another thing. Watched her give them to the monsters to get through the gates. Stood by, did nothing.
Yep.
Went back into her room, slept, presumably, woke up the next morning, watched Ianthe tell everyone, oh, I'm sensing that there's going to be an attack from the Naga. Let her play hero. And then says that she had no idea that I actually goaded her into it.
Yep.
She goaded her into using her Daemati powers. She goaded her into going through with that plan.
Yeah.
She did fucking nothing. She wanted it to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
And she knew that Tamlin would have to go along because they both knew at that point that Ianthe was working for Hybern. So if he goes against Ianthe, he goes against Hybern. He had a bargain with Hybern.
Yeah.
And I think Hybern was eventually killed by Truth Teller by Elaine, because Elaine of all people, right? Because Hybern broke their bargain. Because remember, the bargain was that Tamlin would let him at the wall and use his court if he didn't hurt his people.
Yeah.
And then we have Feyre going, oh, I'm going to weaken the Western Wall even more for Hybern to break his bargain and trample through. Which he did.
Yeah.
So you have the insurrection going on, and then you have Hybern attacking, and then reducing them all to cinders. And then you have her in the meeting, which actually, I didn't have the whole quote on one of the ones that I just said, but the last part of one of the quotes of after she said, I blocked it all out, or whatever, and then she says, the lands and people I laid vulnerable to Hybern. She says, but Hybern had promised. Okay, but you knew that they weren't going to keep their promise, because that's what you were banking on when you made the western border weaker. What? Which again is an inconsistency, because she makes it seem like, oh, I had no idea, like, he would actually go against the bargain. He promised he wouldn't hurt anyone. This is fucking Hybern that we're talking about. This is why Tamlin was a fucking spy. This is why he couldn't go against Ianthe. So you essentially made him whip the sentry by pushing that entire situation onto him that didn't even have to happen.
Yes.
It was just a little idea in Ianthe's mind to try to get more praise after she took that glowing whatever ceremony that they had. After she took that from Ianthe, she was like, I need to get revenge. I need to be some sort of savior. And that was the little idea she had in her head. Feyre saw it, and she made her go through with it.
Yes.
I goaded her into it. That she literally says that.
Yeah. Yeah. It blows my mind.
The sentry would never have been whipped.
Never.
If Feyre didn't make it happen.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, because she even says, I gave them a little rope and see if they would hang themselves with it. Like, no, you mind fucked them, made the situation happen, and then he was backed into a corner with nothing else to do.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for saying it how it is. I am so triggered right now that I can't even stand it.
The people that are like, Tamlin chose his own path and he fucked himself over by choosing Ianthe's word over the centuries. Like, first of all, another quote from that, because I just went over this scene in detail specifically so I could bring this up, is she says, so obviously when Ianthe goes and takes the keys from the guy, like, he saw her take them from him. Like, he woke up, he saw her take them from him. Feyre says, I unleashed that memory that I had coiled up so tight in his mind. She let him blurt it out at the last second, so it would seem that he was only trying to save his ass, and not that it was the truth. She said, like, she waited until the last second and then allowed him to say it was her, so it would look like suspicious, like he only wanted to save his ass. And then Ianthe's like, you're gonna believe, like, him who just blurted it out over me who's been your friend for centuries?
You want to know what?
Orchestrated this whole fucking thing.
Yeah. It was all Feyre. It was all Feyre. And for people to be saying that it wasn't.
I know. When she admits it in her POV, in direct quotes.
She admits it. In fact, she revels in it. She's like proud of it. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that pisses me off is when,
oh, well, now we need their army and Fucking idiot is what you are.
I bit myself in the butt, and you mean we need more people and I shouldn't have destroyed an army? Oh shit.
And
yeah,
like I said,
shit.
book one Pharaoh would never. She was not that stupid.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what, you know what? Like, did I give too much credit to Feyre in book one? Maybe, because after ACOMAF halfway through, it's like an entirely different person.
Which again,
she's just,
is it Rhys?
I don't think it is. I think it's Feyre. You know what? Because, and the reason I say this is because she was chosen in the first place because she had hate in her heart. That was the whole stipulation, right? Like, I need a human with hate in her heart.
The beast in the Ouroboros.
Yes. She was never a good person. I think she was maybe an admirable one for saving her family.
See, there is a quote in book one that I really like that I love to bring up with the Nesta antis. And Feyre says, I don't know who's worse, me or Nesta.
Yeah.
Because we're both equally as bad to one another.
And you want to know what, too, when people say that, like, Feyre is a victim, I don't think Feyre would ever think of herself as a victim.
Oh, until she's called out.
Until she has to take responsibility for something, basically.
Will never. She will never.
No, and it's like, also, like, look at how she treats the people around her, too, right? Tarquin, she was so rude. She was so awful to him.
In his own court.
In his own house. Ridiculous.
It's the same way to Thesan during a High Lord meeting. In his own house.
Yeah. They go into other people's houses and condescend and belittle. They went into Tamlin's house and Rhys tried to get Tamlin to kill himself and to fight him. I mean, you know, they're not good.
And then we have your favorite thing ever. Tend to your wounded, Tarquin.
I love when you do that.
And I know, that we have that. But then, again, I spared him from apologizing, and then Tarquin, like, growls at her, whatever. And then Rhys is like, don't talk to my high lady that way. And again, you're in his fucking court.
Yeah.
His fucking court. He's the High Lord here.
Look at, and like, that's another thing is, like, I know you and I do this, right? Because we are just like that, and we go into Tarquin's point of view. Like, can we step into other people's POVs? Like, Tarquin is being told in his fucking house by this teenage 19-year-old girl, tend to your wounded? I would be like, get the fuck out of my house.
My people are fucking wounded because of you, bitch.
Because of you.
And he says that. He says that. He says if you hadn't weakened the Spring Court border, he was allowed to trample right through into my territory. I was
Love
like,
it. Go, Tarquin, go. Go, Tarquin, go.
I fucking love that. But just that, and then, like, how they were rude to Thesan in his own fucking court. Like, watch it. Excuse?
Yeah.
Excuse you. What?
Like, I agreed to host your meeting that you wanted, Rhysand, and you're gonna say, watch it to me? Like, again, I would say, get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house. This is my court,
Spring
bitch.
Court, Summer Court, and fucking Dawn Court that they've disrespected. And yet, I'll bring this up a billion jillion times, I don't care. And yet, all of them mysteriously side with Rhys and Sarah.
I know. And you want to know what? Have you noticed this too? And the thing is, like, I know everyone hates Baron and he's a crusty asshole and whatever.
Oh, he is. Okay.
But do you listen to Baron and what he said? Like, he's the only person that stands up to them. He's like, he literally
500 years older than them. He's over 1,000 years old. He's
and
like,
he questions them
right now. These fucking kids.
Yeah. He questions Feyre. He gives her shit. And you want to know what? Every time he did it, I was like, good for you, Baron. Good for you. Because here's the thing that blows my mind constantly that everyone overlooks. These are 500-year-old men around the table. And we let a 19-year-old girl who came in, granted, she did die for all of them. And I understand that. And I understand she got a kernel of everyone's power and that really freaks them out. But, like, she knows nothing.
Mm-mm. And she's telling them what to do, like she's their overlord now that she has all of their powers.
Yes.
It's
You know what? It's bizarre.
It's
bizarre,
someone
and like,
please fucking knock her down a peg.
that's what I mean.
See, the thing is, I think they're only afraid of Pharaoh because they're afraid of Rhys. Let's be honest.
You think so?
They're only afraid of the Daemati power. That's what they're afraid of. That and the mountain.
Yeah. It's weird.
Again, Rhys threatens them all.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can make you and all of your armies fight for me.
Yeah.
If I chose to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
There was on Instagram the other day, I think it was yesterday, on like an account like Fictional Bee or something, and she's doing Feyre's Under the Mountain like AI images or whatever. And I did for, it was the worm or whatever. And I had forgotten. I was like, oh, you know what? Feyre did kind of do a lot. She did do a lot for Prythian in the first book. Yeah. And Human Pharaoh was wonderful. And she did die for all of them. Mm-hmm. And that's a really big sacrifice. Mm-hmm. But after that point, she just never was the same.
Also, didn't care anymore.
Doesn't care about people around her unless it's Rhys. She really doesn't care about her sisters. Like, unless it's Rhys more in the IC, like even Nesta knowing.
Okay,
she's like
the way she just fucking. There were a couple measly times where she stood up for Nesta, but in general, the way that she let Rhys talk about her, awful, horrific. Fucking talk about my sister that way. I don't care how much fucking beef I have with her.
Yeah,
you'd be fucking dead.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? That's what blows my mind. Like every time I think about it, and then
her eggs.
Yeah, no, I know. I love that image that you sent me, by the way. And then also, like, how crappy was it that she had a portrait of everybody, even their deadbeat dad, even him, up on the wall. Nothing for Nesta. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there is a part of Feyre that is controlled by Rhys. Like a switch.
I mean, I suppose I could see it being a
like
possibility.
I told you, like at the High Lord meeting when she was like, oh, like all those lands and people, blah, blah, blah. And then she was getting like all upset or feeling guilty or whatever. And then he's like, puts his hand on her knee. And he's like, don't feel upset. Or like whatever the fuck he says, mind to mind. And then it just like vanishes. It's weird. And then how I said how he's like, well, someone's going to have to destroy the Spring Court for what they did to Feyre. And then she lands in the Spring Court and she's like, I'm going to take them down from the inside. Like, what is going on in here?
Yeah. But it's funny because Jurian knew the entire time. He even makes a comment about it. I'll have to find the exact quote where he says, I find it interesting that your mate let you come here all by yourself. Do you remember this? And he's like, and it must be because Rhys has enough confidence in you and he knows what you're about to do. Do you remember him saying something like that?
Yeah. And again, this is why Rhys sees the bone cover as Jurian, because Jurian has all the fucking tea on him.
Jurian
tea.
Jurian has all the tea, and I just read the part when they were at the cauldron scene, and Rhys and Jurian are having this interaction, and Rhys goes, oh, do you remember all of that? Very interesting, like when Jurian was calling him out on it.
Yeah.
So, he knows it.
Oh, yeah. That's why he's afraid. That's why the bone carver was Jurian.
I know. Jurian knows some shit.
Oh, definitely. I want to see Jurian take them down a peg so badly. I want to be like, Feyre mind fucked this person, Rhys did this under the mountain, and fuck y'all. Fuck y'all, Faye.
Yeah. I hope Jurian does do something like that.
No, I feel like he's just gonna be another one of Sarah's pawns. She's gonna, like, make the humans and the Fae ally together because there's no wall. She's gonna try to mix them again. Which, I guess, but...
Let's leave it how it is. Why do we have to mix again?
Let's
leave it.
To be a wall? Like, they'll stay on their side, you'll stay on your side, like...
I don't think they want to be with them. Like, just leave it as it is, truly.
Yeah, they really don't. Like, if you were to get them on your side, like, Prithian's pretty rich. It's like a rich gated community, right?
Yes, that's
People inside are very poverty stricken. Like, why don't you throw them a bone or two?
Yeah, like why can't you?
Meals. Like, show them that you're not all killers.
Yes,
Prove it. I'm gonna bring up my fic again, but literally in my fic, Briar has the idea because she was human. She lived on the other side of the wall in one of the villages. And she's now Fae, and she is talking to Crusader, and she's like, I have this idea where, like, I think we should do, like, meals for the mortals that were across the wall. Like, they're still really struggling. Like, there's children that are dying, like, whatever, because Crusader was talking to her about, like, how they get all this seafood import or whatever. So they end up basically taking, like, pallets and pallets of seafood, like, over to the humans or whatever. Like, Glamour as a human, like, they kind of knew her. In the fic, she used to work in the orphanage, so they kind of know her or whatever. And her and Lucien and Jurian, and Crusader basically go over there and they help her, whatever. But it's like, do something like that. The people who don't want to trust you, don't want to trust the food, that's on them. Then you can at least say you tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, at the very least.
Yeah.
If they're not going, like, who has the most to lose? It's gonna be the humans, because you're pretty much immortal. You could kill them with the snap of your fingers.
Yeah.
They're not gonna come to you because they're terrified.
Yeah.
So go to them. Prove that you can be trustworthy. There's bad people on both sides.
There are. There's absolutely bad people on both sides.
Like I said, there's always outliers.
Yeah.
In every group, there's always outliers. But yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of concerned for Jurian. He's an Ian.
He is an Ian. I'm definitely concerned. But he has Vasa, so I don't think that she would.
Yeah, and the way that they, like, compare him to being, like, king-like, and I'm like, he could literally be queen consort.
I know.
She's going to be the only queen left standing. If she survives Koshi. Honestly, I'll be kind of devastated if she gets killed. Because then Jurian has nothing left to live for. He'll just fucking off himself. Honestly.
No,
he lived as a fucking eyeball for fucking centuries. He couldn't even breathe. And then he gets out and he's like, this gorgeous queen likes me out of everyone. And, like, Vasa dies. That's the nail in his coffin, I feel like.
What is?
Vasa dying.
Yeah, I could see it. And plus, like, he went through so much. Like, he loved who was it? He killed Clay. Yeah. And then Miriam ended up with Drake.
To do Clithia, and then Miriam hated him for, again, with the mirrors to Miriam and Farah. Miriam goaded him into seducing Clithia, and then got pissed at him for seducing Clithia.
Yeah.
And he's like, I really fucking loved her. I crucified her.
He's like, I stabbed her for you. You asked me to do that, and then you leave me for someone else?
Yeah, and then everyone's like, he's the crazy stalker that he wants her mate dead so he can force her back. Like, they're comparing him to Tamlin.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, what does he do? He's like, I want to say sorry. I want to say I'm sorry to her.
Yeah. He's like, I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
They go find him and Dracon beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, really? Dracon, is this, like, really? You're going to be this immature?
Recent Tamlin coded.
It's very recent Tamlin coded. And, like, Jurian's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you won. You won.
Literally. But Tamlin's like, you won.
Yeah.
Fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's been 500 plus years. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was his mask at the Highburn camp.
I know.
He wanted Miriam back, just like Tamlin's was, I want Feyre back. So, they're complete trio.
Mirrors. Absolutely. Absolutely.